Hey, friends, welcome to Soul Cafe. We're so glad that you are here. And I'll just start out by bringing my good friend Aaron in. And Aaron, it's great to see you. Let's see, let me get you in here. There you go. Hey, Aaron, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah,
We
it's
had to be
Groundhog.
reminded it was
It is
Wednesday.
it's
Yeah,
Groundhog Day. The days just run together to me.
yeah. Someone recently said it's March 42nd, and I was like, "Yeah, that's about right, March
Yeah,
42nd."
no, it just keeps going and going. But
Yeah,
everything's good.
yeah,
We
we have
got
time
what
for
we need.
what?
We got what we need.
Oh, I thought you said, "You know what we need." I'm like, "What? Is
No,
there
I said we
a
have.
surprise?"
But that's what we're gonna be talking about tonight
Yeah, yeah,
is
no,
can people get what they need?
some people get
So
what they need, yeah. But, yeah, no, I mean, I think the weather's finally gonna make a turn. I'm looking outside right now, it looks a little cloudy, it's gonna rain all day tomorrow, but, man, I feel like
and
I had a
Saturday,
few good days in there, and then all of a sudden it just turned back to kinda winterish or something.
right?
It was
I
like
know.
in the beginning of this whole thing, we all thought, "Ooh, we're gonna be on lockdown and beautiful weather," and then it turned ugly for
So didn't you kinda wonder about that? Because I did. I'm like, is it lack of CO2? I don't know. What do you think? Didn't
yeah,
you
as
didn't
far
you
as, like,
wonder for a second?
why
A
it was so
cool
nice
spring?
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it got cloudy and dark and cold so quickly that
Well, that's what I mean.
you
I
know,
mean, is that no
maybe.
pollution or is it I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, well, we got sun today, a little. It's also just been more windy, I feel like, this spring. I don't know if you feel that way, but it feels like.
Well, I mean, spring's supposed to be windy, just so you know.
Yeah, I know it is, but I mean, I don't know why, but it just feels a little bit more ominous this year. And I feel like Pastor Bonnie Phil said that we were going to get an early spring, and I think he was lying.
Well, no, I mean,
I mean, just because we
what
didn't get snow doesn't.
what is spring when you had a winter like we had? That's the problem. Is so you had a winter like we had, and then spring comes, and spring is just like winter, and how do you tell the difference?
I know it's
Yeah.
not
So
fair.
the problem could have been winter, not spring. Think about it.
Well, true. But all my friends who are down south in North Carolina, which never feels very far south to me, or South Carolina, they're all just in 85 degrees sunny weather every day. I'm going,
Well,
well,
they're below that front, that line, right? So we're above it, and that's the way it goes. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'm liking it. It's back and forth. Today was beautiful, just
yeah,
beautiful. Like nature just
yeah,
it was just beautiful.
yeah.
So
I only go
anyway.
out a little bit, but yeah,
So we got an exciting show. We thought we'd talk about food security
yeah,
because that's kind of an interesting issue right now. I guess everybody's seen the articles in the paper or on TV or food plants shut down and produce can't people plowing produce under. That's
right.
kind of interesting right now.
Insane. Yeah. It is curious because and I know we won't necessarily be able to talk directly to this, or I mean we can as a conversation, but we have Pam Miller coming on who sort of specializes in a different area of the USDA. But my first question always is why there are plenty of places that are suffering in famines. Why can't the vegetables be sent to like those places? But I know it's more about logistics and the ability to actually get them where they need to go and
Well,
all
that's
this.
the problem. We've always said that hunger was a distribution issue.
Yeah.
It's like getting the right stuff to the right place, not necessarily having the stuff. So we're seeing that firsthand right now.
Yeah. I mean, admittedly, as someone who's always like fought against vegetarianism or plant based diets and things, but have really wanted to try them for a few reasons, I'm almost a little bit glad that this is about to send me into just like having to do that on purpose. 'Cause
You
now
have no choice.
I know good choice, and so I'm not necessarily like trying to stock up on meats and things like that. And so I don't know. I'd be okay if it like sort of forced me into trying to go plant based to see if that actually, because I don't think I'll ever do that on my own. So
Yeah, so I hear you. I stocked up on a bunch of meat today, gotta tell you. So,
more, yeah,
yeah, I'm good to go.
yeah,
I mean, so we're good for a while. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm,
So I wanna revisit, one of the interviews we had last week. So you probably remember we had Doug Cook on, and
yep.
he was gonna talk about, um, delivering food to some of our first responders, and he did that today. So the cool thing is he set up in our parking lot, and he, smoked a bunch of chickens. I can tell you because, I charged him one for parking in my spot with
Yeah,
his
no, I
smoker.
smelled it.
He put his smoker in my spot.
Interesting.
Perfect location.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so anyway, I've tried his chicken and it was excellent. So,
Thank you.
Doug,
Thank you.
how was it tonight delivering to the first responders?
It was fantastic. I mean, just the whole day, bringing my staff in and seeing them work together and being able to have them back in because it had been a while since they had been there, and just getting everything together, and then just having the smoker going. Just it felt good to be doing things, and then to get out there. We dropped off at the Falls Church Fire Department and the Virginia Hospital Center, Arlington Hospital. So it was great. And
So,
we,
Doug, for the fun of our family, let's talk about what it took to save the smoker. Can we for a second?
okay.
So, so, so the parking lot's being fully redone,
Yes.
and the smoker was back in the gravel lot beside your
Yes.
garage, which is now a pile of rubble.
Yes.
And so we discovered there was a problem. Can we talk about that for a second?
Dry rotted tires.
Yeah. So Jim Wood, our good friend Jim Wood, if you're watching, he got online somewhere and found
Yeah.
these tires.
Walmart. Got them at Walmart.
Walmart. He shows
Yeah.
me in his office. Look at these. He brings me in. Look,
Yeah.
these are the tires to Doug's smoker. We had a moment of prayer, and then so we took those back. We put them on, and we
Yeah.
got the smoker out of danger.
Yes.
So
Took it over to 301, stayed over at 301 for about a week, and then we brought it over to your spot
and
today.
all is good for Thanksgiving.
Yes.
But
Yes.
today it was
Today
all good
was-
for the first responders.
Correct.
So
Correct.
tell me about some of the responses of the first responders.
So we dropped off at the Falls Church Fire Department first, and a couple of the firemen came out, and they were very thankful, appreciative of it. In fact, they had not received their thank you plaque from back last year when we did all those plaques for everybody in the city. So
What?
Kristen Clifton had been trying to deliver that, so she gave it to us, and Columbia descended on the fire department. We had, let's see, myself, Jennifer King, Samantha Wright, Chris Clifford, William Hernandez. We were all over there. They were doing social media and videoing of it. But so they were taken a little bit back by how many how many of us were there. But they were very appreciative, and just it looked like they were getting ready to go in and chow down on that. And then after that, we went over to Virginia Hospital Center and delivered 75 meals there. So
Wow.
they
That's
were
cool.
so it's interesting because both we're going to be doing Fairfax Hospital tomorrow, but it's through a foundation for both hospitals in which they coordinate all these donations, and they've been getting a lot in. So this was about 2-3 weeks in the making, and it just took them a while to say, hey, we'll take something down the road. But so got over there and met the person who I was in contact with, and she was so thankful. And they were just it was kind of quick, and because they wanted to get back in and get going, and we had all the social distancing and everything going on. So but they just they loved it. She took pictures. She said I think it was going to put on their social media too, on for the Virginia Hospital Center. So it was a fantastic day.
So now these people know that Columbia appreciates them and all they're
Yes.
doing to be on the front lines, and you made that happen. So you and the kitchen staff, when you can't be fixing meals for us tonight, which I miss, by the
Right.
way, a
Yep.
lot,
Yeah.
and for the
We miss
CDC,
making 'em.
this is what you guys are doing. So
Mhm.
thanks for making it count.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Glad to do it. Glad to do it for God and for the church.
So how's it going helping the food pantry? Because we're going to be talking to them tonight.
Fantastic. Rachel Eckert, who will be on here in a little bit. She will usually give me a weekly order form and what they want. Like we sent off 14 cases of eggs today, so that's roughly 225 dozen eggs to be passed out this Saturday. And then next week she has me purchasing a whole bunch of produce, like apples and oranges and things like that, just cases of it, because my suppliers can get all these things in, and we're fortunate to have that avenue in which we can
Yeah.
do it, so that we can supply for the less fortunate.
Yeah, because we can't even get it from the food bank right now. We can't get
Yeah.
it from grocery stores. We can get it from you. So thanks
Yes.
for helping
Yeah.
us. And
Oh, yeah,
for
no problem.
for the senior adults, I know I've heard from a couple of them this week who
Yes.
contacted me and
Oh,
said they
yeah.
were so thrilled.
Yes.
So thanks
We've
for
had
doing
about
that.
we've had about 4 or 5 deliveries every day, and we've had a couple of repeat customers already. So that's working out really well.
That's awesome. Thanks for what you're doing.
You're welcome.
All right,
Glad to
man.
do it.
Have a
All
good
right.
night. You can
Yeah,
go
you too.
finish
Take
your
care.
chicken dinner now, whatever that
It's
is.
done.
All right. So, Aaron, we have who?
Aaron.
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 I think he's got.
So, last week he was on a project and he couldn't help us, but tonight he
He's
wants to
back.
give us. He's going to make up for lost time.
I love
He
it.
asked for time for 2 bluegrass songs. Are we good with that?
Happy songs, Aaron.
No, he said he was in a. He
I knew
warned
you said
me.
you were in a
He
sad
warned us. You were on that email. He
I
warned
was,
us.
but
He's
we
in
can
a
say
sad, sad
feedback.
mood.
You know, it's funny though. Today, I just, I guess I decided to turn that frown upside down.
Yeah.
So I have some,
Thank
I
you.
have some.
So
I-
your warning wasn't apropos. You're going to do something different.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just, Mandy and I were talking through what the options were. Okay, well, here are the 2 songs. Just let me tell you what I spared you. Okay, one song is a song called Rye Cove, and it's about a tornado hitting a schoolhouse.
It's a good song though. I know that song.
You know that song?
Yeah, it's a good
Great
one.
song.
Yep.
Not a happy song.
No.
And then the other one is called The House Carpenter. Both of these were songs that were done by Doc Watson, and I've been listening to him a lot lately. Anyway, this song, House Carpenter, is about a man and a woman who are, I guess, boyfriend, girlfriend. He goes off to sea for a year, comes back, finds that she has married and had a child. And he says, hey, why don't you come back across the ocean with me? And she agrees. And so she leaves her kid and her husband, who is the house carpenter. They get on a ship. The ship sinks to the bottom of the ocean, but not before she curses him for
Okay, Aaron. Does this sound like a happy song to you?
No, I think those are the ones he's not singing us, right?
Yes.
Not singing, yeah.
I was trying to tell you what I spared you, but
Okay.
no, the
Well,
songs
thank you for
songs that
not
I picked
sparing
up
us,
today
sparing us.
are of a different variety. They're both gospel songs. So gospel group.
All right, gospel's always good.
There you go.
Bluegrass sounds
All right,
good.
brother, take it away.
All right. This first one is called "The Great Speckled Bird." What a beautiful thought I am thinking concerning a great speckled bird. Remember her name is recorded on the pages of God's holy word. Desiring to lower her standard, they watch every move that she makes. They long to find fault with her teaching, but really they find no mistake. I'm glad I have learned of her meekness. I'm proud that my name is in her book. For I want to be one, never fearing the face of my Savior to look. He cometh descending from heaven on a cloud that he rides in his word. I'll be joyfully carried to meet him on the wings of that great speckled bird. I'll be joyful over.
Awesome.
Uh-oh. Can't hear Jim. I saw his mouth moving, but I was like, uh-oh, so did something happen
I
to my
love the
guest?
song. He's still
Yeah.
muted. I thought it was great.
Oh, thanks.
I like
I'm still muted. Okay, there I am.
There
Okay,
you
sorry.
go.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That takes me back to my Southwest Virginia roots right there,
Yeah.
because
So,
that is one of the old standbys.
do you know the history of that song, Jim?
I've heard it a lot, but I probably don't.
So, it was written in the early 1900s, like 1910-ish, and it was written as part of the fundamentalist movement. So, when the fundamentalist church split away from the what became the mainline churches, and this song, I only sang verses 1, 4, 7, and 8.
wow.
But verses 2 and 3 and 5 and 6 are doozies. If you go, you should check it out. Go look
So
up.
look them up if you want to
Yeah.
see what people were saying, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Go look it up.
I don't know, but it's a standby. I've heard it a lot.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great old country song covered by lots of people. The original person who wrote it, his name is Roy Acuff. From I think he recorded it in the 50s. And then I was going to invite my lovely wife Mandy to do one more if you guys have time. Do we have time for one more?
Yeah, of course. You're
All
a
right.
guy, man.
So this one you guys all know. This one is called "Leaning on the Everlasting Arms." What a fellowship, what a joy divine, leaning on the everlasting arms. What a blessedness, what a peace is mine, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning, safe and secure from all alarms, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, how sweet to walk in this pilgrim way, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, how bright the path grows from day to day, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning, safe and secure from all alarms, leaning on the everlasting arms. What have I to dread? What have I to fear? Leaning on the everlasting arms, I have blessed peace with my Lord so near. Leaning on the everlasting arms, leaning, safe and secure from all alarms, leaning on the everlasting arms.
Man, that's good stuff.
Yeah, that's
I
fun.
like it. I like it. Yeah, it's good stuff.
I hear you guys harmonizing again together.
Yeah, I know.
Fun.
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
Yeah. We also have one. Who is it? Jen King. Jen King asked us to also record a song as well. So we'll probably have one out on I don't know what do we do that on Facebook or something?
Oh, fun.
Yeah, coming up.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember when Brian and Natalie did that as well. So that's cool. Oh,
Yeah.
that's fun. Are you guys singing a lot with the family? The boys getting.
Yeah, you know, they're not so
Singing.
I feel like you have a
interested
built-in
in
music
singing.
class for your kids.
Yeah.
Arts and crafts with Mandy, and then singing with you.
We got a little
I
drumming
have-
going on, a little piano.
I have
music
some
stuff.
more craft videos that I'm recording too, so those will be coming out.
Oh, that'd be good. Hey, so I've been getting comments from the Peanut Gallery while you've been singing. So Greg Lower is a later guest, and he said, "Hey, speckled bird comes from Jeremiah chapter 12, verse 9.
That's
Did you know
exactly
that?
right. Yep.
I didn't know that. So
Yeah. I read that.
yeah, you read that. So it says, "Has not my inheritance become to me like a speckled bird of prey that other birds prey, surround and attack? Go and gather all the wild beasts, bring them to devour." Yeah, that's a happy song.
It's a happy song. Maybe not a happy bird. But it's interesting that somebody took that and they said, "Oh, the speckled bird is the church, not just the church, but the church."
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I like the
Hey,
bluegrass. I like
It's
it.
so great to see you guys. It's like old times, seeing you together, singing.
Yeah.
Where are the kids right now?
One is right there.
Yeah, he's
Well,
watching.
behaving very well.
Yeah, they're doing really well.
Device. They're
Oh.
playing games. They're
Yeah.
playing
Okay.
games.
Here we come.
How's that going these
There
days?
he is.
Hi, there's one.
How's the whole fam thing going for both of you, actually?
Um, it's been interesting. They're getting used to the whole online school thing, and that's been a little bumpy out in our county, but I think we're managing. And then it's a lot of free time, and this mom keeps wanting to send them outside, and they keep going, "No, why do I have to go out?"
So
So
can we say we miss school?
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yes.
But
That was last week's
I will
topic.
say, all things considered, we are very, very grateful
Mhm.
to have the ability to, we've got a roof over our heads, we've got food to eat, and so we're doing okay. I've got a job, so
It's the
we're-
first.
we're-
These
we're-
are first. Let's face it. Meat, school. These are first world problems.
Yeah.
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 All right, guys. Thank you so much for being with us. It's so great
Thanks
to
for
have
having us.
you,
Thank
and
you.
we'll look forward to seeing you again really soon. So, what are you gonna
Awesome.
sing for us next time, Aaron? Just tell us so we'll know.
I don't know. Probably some songs about tornadoes or something.
Yeah, well, that would be
I'll
good.
send it to our class.
We'll take one about tornado next time.
Okay.
All right, guys. Take care.
See ya.
Good night.
All right, Aaron. So I've got a couple of little polls for us tonight. Just, we have to do this to prove that we're live because people keep saying you're recording this. We're not. We're live. I think they should know by the mistakes that
I
we're
was about
live.
to say, like, you went on mute. Like, why would
I did. And I would have fixed that if we were post-production,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
we're not. So anyway, we are live. So we're going to do a little poll here. So I'm going to share, let's see if I can do this. It doesn't look like it's showing. What do you see here? Black or nothing?
I see black. I still see, well, now I see you and me. And now I don't hear you. See, guys, we're live. We're totally live. This is proof. We're totally live. I don't know whether they can hear me or they can hear Jim.
No, my computer keeps glitching on and
Okay.
off. I don't know what's
I was
going
saying,
on.
I don't know if they can hear me or you. I'm not sure who they can hear, but
All right, we're gonna try to share again.
right.
Let's see what happens here. Okay, let's see. I think this will do it. Maybe it won't.
our poll, our beloved poll.
Do you see it?
Oh, yeah, now I see it.
Okay. All right.
It's gone
Okay.
again.
It is. It's gone again.
It's gone again.
Ah,
We can
man.
read it like a good commercial, right? Was it like text 22277 or something like that?
I don't know. I don't.
Questions.
Like this thing is goofy for some reason tonight. But let's see if we can do it again. All right. Can you see it now? No.
No.
All right. We'll do it later. So
All right.
for now,
Do we want to give the text number that people can text questions?
yeah. So
Out
oh
or
my goodness. All right. Hold on. So you want to know how live we are? I'm getting ready to shut down.
And here's my dog.
So hopefully you're there. Did you stay on?
I think so. I don't know.
And I'm on there like twice or
You
something.
are,
Okay.
yeah. Mirror
That's
image.
totally goofy. All right, let's see.
Maybe you can
Man,
make me the host. It says you're the host.
yeah, I am the host supposedly. Okay. All right. Well, let's welcome our guests in if we
Okay.
can. Let's see if we can make that work. I hope we can because man, this thing is goofy.
Yeah.
So first of all, oh my goodness. All right, talk for a minute. I'm
Okay.
serious.
Well, I'm excited. No, I'm excited about what we're going to be talking about today. So I'll admit, Rick O'Mara had come to us last year and was giving us all sorts of suggestions of who to bring on to Soul Cafe. He works in the USDA and he works across, and I'm probably screwing some of that up as far as what his role is, but he works with a few other folks within the church who also work at the USDA. And he had been recommending some really interesting topics for a while about ways in which we could talk about the food system in America, agriculture, so on and so forth. So he has been a huge fan of Pam Miller, as are a lot of people, including now me. I hadn't known Pam all that well before, but I'm excited to get to know her more. And there we're live because my dog's barking. But we are excited to have Pam Miller to come on and talk about the USDA and the various food programs that are available, SNAP, and some of the children's programs, children welfare programs within school systems and different areas. And we're also going to talk to our very own Greg and Rachel with Spend Yourself in our food pantry. They're also with Columbia Baptist. And then we're lucky enough to bring on Richard Kane with Falls Church City Schools, who is working all of their food services programs.
So the good news is I think I'm back up and running. That was
We're back.
yeah,
But
that was weird. They did an update today. I think it messed everything up.
Okay.
But
Well,
let's see if we
hopefully
can
everyone
promote
heard.
Greg
But
and see if we can promote Pam and let's see if we can promote Richard. And maybe let's see if we can pull off before we get them in. Let's see if we can pull off our poll tonight. Let's see.
okay, we're missing
Uh,
Rachel and Richard.
I'm a little worried
Got
about the poll. I
Pam
don't know.
and Greg.
I don't think the poll's working.
Welcome,
Let's
Pam
go
and
with
Greg.
it. Yep, Richard. If he comes in,
Hopefully
may
he'll be
have,
here in a
may have
second.
to log back in.
And Pam, we have you on mute. So if you don't mind unmuting yourself, unless Jim can hop. There you go. Perfect. Okay, awesome. Well, welcome, Pam and Greg. I'll keep us going while we wait to see if Rachel and Richard are able to join us. And I know Jim's working on some polls over there in Q&A, but I'm really excited to have you guys. I was telling everyone, I think we think everyone heard my explanation leading into this. But obviously there's a lot in the news right now about unemployment, about food programs within school systems, about meal assistance, about even just going on into agriculture, how we're losing a lot of our food distribution, and just what an incredible need is out there, as was demonstrated by what Doug is doing in the community through our church. So Pam, I think we wanted to be able to kick it off with you from like a global perspective. You're with the USDA. If you wouldn't mind sharing exactly what your role within the USDA is, and a little bit about what you're seeing on the scene right now, that would be awesome.
Yeah, sure. So, hi, Erin. Can you hear me okay? Talking
Yeah,
about the
we can hear you
technology.
fine.
Okay. Okay, good. You never know with these things. So, I'm really glad I have an opportunity to visit with folks tonight about this because, like you said, we know that there are a lot of folks with COVID-19 who are facing unemployment. Schools are closed across the country, and there's been a lot of disruptions. And so, we have folks, and the importance of nutrition assistance programs are really important at this time. And so, I really appreciate, as a member of Columbia, everything that the Spend Yourself ministry does and just seeing how that's grown over the years. And so, in my day job, I am the administrator for the USDA's Food and Nutrition Service. And many people don't realize that our nation's nutritional safety net programs, such as the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, or some folks may remember it as food stamps, as well as the WIC program, the National School Lunch and School Breakfast programs, and our Summer Food Service program that serves children in the summer, as well as the Emergency Food Assistance Program, which supplies high quality U.S. grown foods to food banks. All of that is actually within USDA. And so I'm really proud to be the leader of the agency that's providing about $125 billion in nutrition benefits, foods, and services to low income Americans, school children, and others who are finding themselves in need right now. So, as you said, Aaron, I'm going to do a big picture outline just to talk about the response that we have at the federal level for those who are in need of food assistance. And so, as I mentioned, first is the SNAP program, which is operated by the states. This program is fully operational, and I think that there's some slides that'll be kind of going as I talk to just show some of the response that's out there
Hopefully they're
across the
showing.
yeah, hopefully so. So our SNAP program is fully operational, even though, like many of us, states have had to shift to more online and virtual services. Folks can still apply for SNAP, and we have provided needed flexibilities to help states continue these services in the challenging times that we're facing. Congress has recently given us some new authorities to approve states to issue emergency supplemental benefits to ensure that all SNAP households are receiving the maximum SNAP benefit. And all states are issuing these emergency supplemental benefits, which is providing an additional $2 billion per month in SNAP benefits during this COVID emergency. And this is a 40% increase in the overall monthly SNAP benefits, which is really increasing that food purchasing power for families who are in need. Moving to our child nutrition programs, we know that for some children, the only meals that they might receive are actually the ones that they receive at school through our school breakfast and the lunch programs. And by law, we're supposed to make sure that students are served meals in a congregate or a group setting. And so when schools began closing, we had to move quickly to allow schools to begin providing meals in a non-group setting. I'm glad that Richard's here from the Falls Church City Schools. Hopefully he can shed a little more light on some of the things that they're doing and seeing. But Congress gave us some additional authorities that have allowed parents and guardians to pick up meals for their children. Normally, kids have to be present to receive those meals. And so this allows parents to pick up the meals for the kids. We can provide families multiple meals at one time, so there's no need for them to return the next day. And it has been, as those pictures have shown, schools and other community organizations have really stepped up to provide those grab and go meals, drive up services, and a lot of other innovative solutions to help kids. And we have a great online tool called Meals for Kids, and it shows a number of locations across the Northern Virginia area, but across the country where there are these feeding sites where folks can come to pick up those free meals for their kids. And so finally, I want to discuss ways that we are also providing those high quality US grown foods out to food banks. I know this is something that's important to Columbia's Food Pantry. As I said, as we've kind of heard discussed tonight, we know that the demand at food banks has really gone up as more folks have found themselves unemployed, and the private donation side is really down as there's fewer donations coming into food banks from the retail community, restaurants, and other sources. And so we know that the food supply chain continues operating. We've all seen that there's some stocking issues that happen there at the grocery store, but we're doing everything we can to protect the food supply, keep all the food manufacturers operating so that we can get food on the shelves to help folks with SNAP purchase. And then through our Emergency Food Assistance Program, or TFAP, we love our acronyms in the federal government.
Gotta love
We got a lot of them. USDA, we purchase food that is actually distributed out through the states. And then from there, it goes out to food banks. And many of this goes to the larger food banks who then distribute food to some smaller food pantries. And these TFAP commodities are there really to assist the low income individuals. So states do have to have income eligibility guidelines for participants. There's a lot of flexibility for states in setting those guidelines, but we know that our USDA food inventories are available, but we supply about a third of the food that food banks banks have. And so again, they rely heavily upon private donations, or they purchase other items that are in need. And so it was great to hear what Doug Cook's able to do to help the church's food pantry in that way. So that's kind of what we're doing with some of those USDA foods. But USDA also recently announced a new program, the Farmers Feeding Families Food Box Program. So it's a way for us to support America's farmers and ranchers, as well as those who are in need. And so these foods are going to be going out through local food distributors. We're going to be purchasing $3 billion in fresh produce, dairy, and meat products. And so the distributors and wholesalers who are going to participate in this program will provide a pre-approved box of fresh produce, dairy, and meat products to the nonprofits who are serving Americans in need. So there's another agency at USDA, the Agricultural Marketing Service. They're operating this program, but we certainly work very closely with them. And a solicitation is out now for distributors to participate in the program. And once those contracts are awarded, nonprofit organizations should contact the distributor that has been awarded the contract in their area. And those distributors are going to be listed on the website when all of that gets set up. And so I think that might be some opportunities for Columbia, as well as some others, to have access to some more food, to make sure it's getting out to those in need. So I'm a firm believer that the government doesn't have to have all the solutions. It works best through public-private partnerships, because we can really harness the innovation and the creativity that's out there. But this is just to give you a broad picture overview of the programs we have, and kind of our total response to some of the things that we're doing to provide SNAP benefits, making sure we're getting some more foods into food banks. And so the USDA motto is do right and feed everyone. And so it has really been amazing to see how folks across the country are stepping up, and we're really putting that motto into action now more than ever.
So Pam, we're hearing in the news and elsewhere that people are actually having a hard time finding certain foods. And of course, we've seen the articles in the paper and elsewhere that the food supply is broken. So yeah, I thought it'd be curious to ask people what they were having a hard time finding. So let's just see what people say before we move on. So you guys know that you can poll at pollev.com/Jim Baucom 277, or you can text Jim Baucom 277 to 22333, and you can answer one of these. Somebody, this is probably one person who said they've had no trouble finding what they want. So you guys respond to this, and we'll see what you say later in the program. But I'm finding certain things kind of hard to find. Like, so toilet paper is wiped out. There's no surprise there. Beef, baby. We've got one of those responses. We'll come back to this later. But I am finding that pork is almost impossible to find. Some beef is hard to find. What's happening? You've got a front row seat. I know you have to be careful about what you say here. I recognize that, but what's really happening?
Sure. Well, I think a lot of it is that while the food supply chain is doing its best to work, some of it is just that that we're not getting everything stocked as quickly as we'd like. So I think that sometimes with in this pandemic, folks are really hoarding, and then just making sure those supply channels are all there to make sure they can get the foods back into the grocery stores and restocked as much as possible. The president did announce an executive order to make sure our meat packing plants are going to be continuing to operate. And so there has been kind of a rolling basis where some plants have had some issues where employees have had COVID. They've had to shut down, do a deep clean. But hopefully within 2 to 3 weeks, as those plants can come back online, so there are a little bit of some bumps along the way, but overall we're doing our best to make sure that we can keep everything running. And I know it's been a little bit of a lesson, and my favorite brand isn't always there, but kind of having to make a few adjustments. But everything continues to be operational. It just is a little frustrating that some of the stocking doesn't happen as quick as we want.
So you think we got nothing to worry about? It's just a matter of people hoarding and temporary disruptions
From
the
what we're
food
seeing,
chain.
from what,
Yeah.
yep, from what we're learning.
Well, you got a better picture than most of us. Most of us just know what we can find at the grocery store, et cetera. Yeah,
Mhm.
so we've got 2 other guests here. So we've got Richard Kane from Falls Church City Schools or Falls Church City, yeah, schools, right? And
That's
you're in charge of the meals program. You want to talk a little bit about what you do there?
I'm in charge of all the food service operations for the Falls Church City Public Schools. And what we're doing right now is we're packing food for the families that come to our school for 7 days a week. So in order to keep my staff safe, the way I did it different from the other school systems in the area, we only come, I have my staff work 1 day a week. So on Thursday, well, on Tuesday, I get my deliveries. I accept on Thursday, we have somebody assemble the orders, 2 different teams. And then on Friday, we distribute the orders to the parents in the school system in the surrounding area. And what we're doing is, in order that we don't run out of food, all of our parents, all the people who want food from us, they have to pre-order the food using a software app that's either mobile or through their computer or their phone or whatever way they do it, so that we can make sure that they have food. Now, it doesn't mean they won't get food if they don't use the app. It means that if you pre-order your food, you're guaranteed to get food when you show up. But if you don't pre-order the food, and you have a chance of um, maybe not getting, you know, taken care of on that day. But I've have almost 100% participation rate and people ordering the food ahead of time, so we don't run out. Um, and the reason for the software, other than not running out, we have to keep track of everybody we give the food to for USDA. And
Okay.
that's very important. So we have to know how many kids you have, how many people in the household, and things like that. And it's worked out very well for us.
Richard, I had a question because I know I'm a parent in the city of Falls Church and I'm on a lot of listservs that are in the city of Falls Church. And I know what Columbia Baptist has been doing in the city. Are you seeing a lot of, as Pam was talking about, like private public partnership? Are you seeing a lot of the families also coming to the help and assistance of families that are might be more impoverished in the city of Falls Church? Are you working with those families on those types of food drives and donations?
One of the things that Falls Church City has done is they have asked families if they could help to donate their balances of people who have extra balances since they're not in school, to donate their balances to people in the community who may need it. And I've been kind of overwhelmed with the response of people donating their balances to family members in the community to help them with food. For instance, giving food to the parents, not just the students, but also to the parents. And also, this money goes towards staff that may have had a husband or wife laid off who necessarily doesn't work in the school system or
Right,
work somewhere else. So that's one of the things that the foundation, the Falls Church City Education Foundation, has been great at.
right.
It's
That's pretty
fantastic.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, but thanks for all your work. What can we do to help you?
I guess this show is helping get the word out. Um, right now, and to answer Aaron's question, there are a lot of private companies that are also trying to help. Panera Bread is one of them that did something with the president. I've spoken to them. So right now, I think we're pretty good on that. One of the things that we've had a hard time sourcing that's been in and out has been stable products like fruit cups. Now you can go in the supermarket and buy it, but getting it on a commercial level for me at one point was it's hit or miss in the distribution chain from a commercial standpoint, and some of those other stable items. But we get around some of this because we give them a lot of fresh fruit. We give them, fresh broccoli, things like that. I can get on bulk, and then we can divide up the individual families. Right now, I think we're good the way we're handling it. But we don't know. I appreciate the offer, so I like to keep that on the back burner. We don't know what's coming up.
Well, you might want to talk to Doug Cook, who was there earlier, and see if he can source some stuff for you. You never
Yeah.
know. So,
I think
Greg, what are we
go ahead.
finding with Food Pantry? I think we are having difficulty getting some things.
Well, right. As you know, we've had a food pantry for 40 something years now. And a couple years ago, moved the operation to our Crossroads campus, closer to the center of need in Bailey's Crossroads in Colmore. Right now, our numbers are steady around 190 families every Saturday. We have about 6 weeks ago moved to a different kind of distribution method. Instead of having clients come in to the building and fellowship and prayer and handshakes and hugs, we said, okay, we're going to do everything outside. And after about 1 week, we said, you know what, we're just not going to have a check-in anymore. We need to maintain the distancing. And so for the last maybe 5 or 6 Saturdays, a simple approach of 2 lanes, one for cars, one for walkers, limited number of volunteers, maybe 2 or 3 in the food pantry itself, and those only from the same household, the rest in the parking lot directing traffic and all. People are very appreciative, obviously, of our Spend Yourself Food Pantry because they can get the basics that they need. Everybody comes away with 18 or 20 items that are fairly standard. But in recent weeks, as you've shared, the Capital Area Food Bank just doesn't have a lot of items. For a while, we were saying, don't give us to our members and people in the community, don't donate food items, just give us money because that'll go farther. We can buy more. However, in the last few weeks, the food bank has great demand. And so now we're back to asking people to help with food items to donate. There's a list on our website, but basic things like cereal and oatmeal and rice and pasta and sauce and canned fruit, and they can see that list on the Columbia website. That'll greatly help us as people are donating food. Some are going online, and Rachel, when she comes on, can tell us more about that. But ordering, and then the food is being shipped to the Falls Church campus. And then we got a special thing coming up this Saturday. We'll tell you more about that in a minute.
So this is the kind of thing Pam's trying to help with. So the regional food banks, they're not functioning right now, not getting the food they need. So we're having to kind of go to second sourcing, and so we're actually asking people to bring food items as opposed to money, which is a new thing for a lot of our folks. But Rachel, we have kind of an exciting event. I think you want to tell a little bit about what we got coming up this Saturday.
Yeah, so this Saturday are actually from noon to 3 at our 301 North Washington Street building, which is just a couple of doors down from the church. We're doing our first food pantry drive and drop. So basically, you'll drive into the entrance of the lot, and there'll be bins that are there and volunteers in gloves and masks, keeping their distance, but possibly, as your car stops, you pop the trunk, we take the food and drop into the bin or load it onto the pickup truck, and then we wave and we thank you because we want to see everybody, and then people just keep on driving through. So you drive through, you drop it in the bin, and keep on going.
So Greg, we kind of got a special surprise for people with this. So you want to tell about that?
Well, Jim, why don't you and some of the other staff come to the 301 parking lot on Saturday afternoon from 12 to 3 and just greet people and wave? I mean, it's been like, 6 or 7 weeks since people have seen you, adults and kids and other staff.
Well, I mean, they've seen us. We haven't seen them.
Well,
so we think it would be fun to sort of create a parade kind of an environment where people come. Your cost is to drop a food item for the food pantry. That's what you have to do. But the staff, a lot of staff are going to be, the pastoral staff are going to be around the circle to wave at you. We can't talk to you long because we got to keep the food moving. But we're going to be set up to greet you. And I guess a through the window pump of some, I don't know, however that works. But we want to say hi to you. So we hope that all of our people at Columbia will come through and bring their food items and wave to all the staff members they haven't seen. And we haven't seen you. Come on, let us see you. We'd love to see how you're doing and bring a lot of food to us. So Greg, where can people find this list? It's
all right.
Something wish list.
It's wish list, columbiabaptist.org/.
Oh, wait, Rachel, lift it up. We can't see that.
Okay,
well.
she's got it. She's got it.
Okay, columbiabaptist.org front/wish list, and there they'll
That
find
has
the
the
food items you need.
have the 10 items that we need the most right now. And big thanks to Rachel and her team of volunteers for all the planning and logistics for what's going to happen on Saturday. And I will say this too, the team at the food pantry on Saturdays is just magnificent. They understand precautionary protocols, both for volunteers, for our clients, both walkers and those in cars. And it's just a wonder to behold. I think 4 out of the last 5 Saturdays has been in the rain, and still we've had 180 families come, half of those on foot. I believe this Saturday is going to be sunshine. Wouldn't be surprised if our numbers spike just because of that.
So, Rachel, we have one of the largest food pantries in the area, and a lot of people depend on it. It's been sort of interesting of late to try to keep it functioning, and a lot are not functioning, and we found a way to do it. So you're there a lot, and so is Neil, your husband. He's one of our key volunteers there. So, what's it like to give people food in that place who really don't have access to fresh vegetables, the kinds of things we give them? Tell us a couple of stories.
Even when we were worried about how those stories would play out, because when we had to go to this sort of grab and go way of distributing, we were so concerned because we have so many families that under normal circumstances come to us, and they come for food, but they come for prayer, and they come because our volunteers greet them and are so joyful. And so we were like, what will God do with this? It becomes more of a, you know, they don't even get out of their car if they drive in through a car. But you know what? They come with such smiles on their faces that you can see through their windshields and their windows, and they are so thankful when those bags are handed to them. And those walkers don't mind to stay in line, and they don't mind to stand there 6 feet apart, and they come in the rain and they say, we are so grateful for you, because they know that we're helping to we're standing in the gap with them. And just by action, just by being there, just by staying open, it's enough. And they leave there with a little bit of hope. It's a bright spot in their week, whether we can stop and pray with them or not. And we do say, as they're driving by, we are praying for you. And they are coming every week, but it's amazing,
Yeah,
even in that environment, to see it, the happiness and the joy and the thanks coming through.
it is one of our fantastic Spend Yourself ministries. I mean, I just love what we do. So, it seems to me that like what we have on this screen represents the kind of partnership that we need. So, if we had our federal government working with our local school systems, working with food pantries, so Pam, what can we do to grease the wheels here? Because clearly there's a problem. I just to go back to I sort of realize I botched the graph because I put no pork on there, and I'm finding you cannot find pork. You cannot, and I like to smoke pork, so. But 36% of people say they find whatever they want because beefaroni is still available, but 36% say they can't find beef. I bet if I put pork up there, it'd be bigger than that. So clearly we've got kind of an interesting thing going right now where we're not used in our nation. We're not used to going to the store or to the food pantry or anywhere and not finding what we need. So how can we grease those wheels?
I think that we just always appreciate folks who come up and say, we've got a solution. I know Richard mentioned like Panera Bread, for example. There's someone who came forward and said, we've got some ideas to feed kids. We have a partnership that we're doing with, I'll give a shout out to John and Chrissy Guidey as Baylor grads, the Baylor Collaborative on Hunger and Poverty. And so there's some other things that are going on out there that we can help get meals and food. And I think as we hear different some of these restaurants and some of these food distributors like the Cisco's who came and said, I've got all this produce, how do you connect and how can we get it to food banks and places? And so that's how kind of this farmers feeding families all came about. So a lot of it is just folks just coming forward and telling us. We try our best to hear on the ground what's going on, but a lot of it's just people coming forward and saying, I have this problem, or I see this happening. How can you help us out? Because as you know, the federal government can be a little cumbersome, but it's always helpful when people will help bring us some of those creative solutions on the ground.
Yeah. So, Richard, it just seems like to me, the schools partner with the food pantries. There's a lot that could happen. We could lower prices for all of us, et cetera. I think there's a missing element of community partnership that we might discover in the middle of all this. So I don't know. It
I
just
think some
seems
of
to
it
me.
also, though, is that the pure nature of the businesses that a lot of people are working in are relatively static until they need to be changed and pivoted. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I've actually been, Richard, I'm incredibly impressed how quickly you would go from operating a school system in functioning in meals in the morning, meals at noon, and sending home things over the weekend to a completely different type of distribution process. Same thing with the USDA. A lot of innovation. I think we'd miss the point if we didn't see how many people have been
Yeah.
able to
True.
on a
True.
dime
Well,
and
same with
or
Doug and our staff
yeah, I mean,
finding a way to be employed.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's I think it's a really unique thing. I'm actually just curious. I mean, Pam, you might have a broader view, and Doug's not on here to talk about our specific situation at our cafeteria. But Richard, how did you turn your staff around so quickly to pivot and completely operationalize a different way?
Well, when they first started talking about this, and it was in, I think, Washington State, our school system started to prepare for something that was just ready. So we got everything ready probably. Um, the superintendent, Dr. Noonan, tasked us with just in case this come up. And we had figured it out literally like a week before. And then that Friday, they were like, okay, hit, all systems go. And then we were
That
ready.
was all the way
Next
down to
day,
the line, yeah.
we put it together and we put it out. I had already researched the software, had already gotten ready, tested it out, and everything. And one thing I like to point out um, is for those who have young school age children, the state social services department, they need to sign up for free and reduced lunch if they're not on it right now. Because what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, the state social services are going to give those individuals EBT cards with $370 per child on it. So they may, if they've lost income and they now qualify for free and reduced lunch, they need to make sure that they apply, which you can apply anytime during the school year. And this is for all school systems across the country. So if you know of anybody who've lost something, they need to apply for that and they get an EBT card that's mailed directly to them from the state. And that's something that will help people that they can go spend in the supermarket.
That's good news because I do think a lot of people are thinking about the immediate things, the PPP or welfare and things like that, unemployment, but they're not thinking about those other programs. I mean, Pam, from your perspective, again, even when you were talking about everything that's been mobilized, to your point, the federal government can sometimes be really hard to mobilize quickly. And it's even just thinking that you guys have put out a solicitation and might have distributors lined up quickly. That sounds insane to someone who has, applied for government contracts in the past, that it would move that fast. Have you been impressed with how fast the government, on some ways, has been able to move that fast?
I have. And it is, someone said that we're kind of like a battleship. We got a lot of firepower, but it takes us a long time to move. And that is so true. And so we have done everything we can to move very quickly. And I think that it's great that folks like Richard, Falls Church was ready to go. But yeah, we've tried our best to, our secretary very much is, again, we see what the private sector can do. We need to try our best to get there. So as we started getting waivers and started seeing what we needed to do, I mean, his expectation and bar was very high. Let's get things turned around for folks in 24 to 48 hours if we can. I didn't talk about the program Richard just mentioned. It's called the Pandemic EBT program. That's a new one. Congress gave us authority to stand up. And so that just came in March. And so to Richard's, what he was saying, we just approved Virginia this week to start doing. So in roughly 30 days, again, for Congress to pass it and us to start implementing it. I mean, that's lightning speed for government, I will say.
For most any organization, but definitely the government for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I know that we need to start to wrap up because we're getting close to time, but I certainly want to just congratulate all of you and Doug, who's not online right now, and Rachel and Greg for what we're doing at Columbia Baptist. But I really have been impressed. There's plenty of things that haven't worked just fast enough. I'm sure we could all debate that, but the food system and at least being able to just even seeing communities mobilize, and all the different restaurant owners and different places and private individuals who are just holding food banks on their front lawns. I mean, it's been really actually uplifting in that perspective to see from the community as a whole and business and government how fast people are trying to get people fed, keep
Mhm.
people healthy.
Well, I think it's emblematic of a lot of what's happening in a lot of our culture. People are retooling and finding places to be productive when what they normally do is not working. And so, I've seen that so much at Columbia and elsewhere too. The kind of stuff Richard is doing, people want to be useful. They don't want to sit around. I don't think I find too many people who are excited about the prospect of doing nothing. So people are finding ways to help other people. And I think that's impressive. So, Pam, thanks for all the government is doing and keep up the good work. We need your help. Our food pantries do, people like Richard do. And Greg and Rachel, thanks for all you're doing. And the food pantry, it's really pretty amazing. And Richard, thanks for what you're doing to feed families while you're not
That's right.
preparing school meals. How long do you think it'll be before you do that again?
Probably not until the fall.
I think the fall. I think the fall. So Aaron is rooting for the fall, right, Aaron?
Yeah.
Amen. Amen.
So is Pam.
Schools reopening in the fall.
School.
Take us back. Take us back.
So I didn't get any questions tonight, and I didn't really throw them out there for people. But I did get a comment that Twin Ace Hardware is selling gallon of hand sanitizer and 6 rolls of paper towels.
There you go.
There you go.
For
Yeah.
how much?
I don't know. I don't know. But
And
if you
Steve for a
need,
pack from Richard.
if you're wiped out, that's your place to go, I guess. So anyway, thank you guys so much for being with us. And I think it's intriguing to talk about this, and maybe we'll revisit this. I think it'll be interesting to see in a month where this stands and what food security looks like. And Aaron, thanks for setting all this up. And
Sure.
it's
Thank you for everyone
fun.
being available.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fun to
thanks.
have everybody on Soul Cafe. And
All right.
Colombians, be at 301 building on Saturday. Let me wave at you. Bring one of those items. Let's cause a traffic jam that causes the citizens of Falls Church to complain mightily. That would be awesome. So you guys have a great week, and we'll see you soon. If not next week on Soul Cafe, then perhaps Sunday. And take care. Bye bye.
Take care.
You take care.